good at that.
Private invitation, huh? Atma Namaste, everyone. Atma Namaste. Christian Arlong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big shout out. It's Laura Locky, bringing the heat, bringing the social media. And I want to jump on real quick. Hey Sharon, Atma Namaste. Always good to have you on. Thanks guys for sharing. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sharon, for sharing. It's Jason. Same exact name as my eldest brother, Jason Long and Jason Duckworth. Maybe they're brothers of the same name. So, good to have you guys on. And it's been a super... What's up, Stan? It's been about 100 years. Brian, Atma Namaste. Good to have you on. So, it's been a super long day. And I think you guys will really appreciate the story of how invocation or prayer can really open up doors for you in your search for something. So what I'm currently searching for, or have been searching for the past 4 days, is the right apartment. Is the right apartment because, it's Jen, my girl Jen, is the right apartment. And some of you know I just got back into Denver after a 2-month hiatus, or 2-month sabbatical, and I got back into Denver about 2 weeks ago, and I've been combing all over Denver looking for just the right place that complements my personal life and my professional life. And my personal life and professional life are basically like this, right? So there's a class that Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui taught many, many years ago called Pranic Feng Shui. And in that course, you're taught how to perceive directions and the importance of directions in your physical life, your emotional life, your mental life, your spiritual life, and even your financial life. And so I can't just go into any apartment or go into any complex or go into any living situation because it's convenient or the price is right. I have to find the right one. And boy, oh boy, has that required a tremendous amount of mental, emotional, and physical effort. So, what's up, Jill? Atma Namaste. Barbara, good to have you on from the Philippines. Giving a shout out from our international brother and sister. Love it, love it, love it. And so check this out. One lead, hey Krista, Atma Namaste. One lead leads to another lead, leads to another lead, leads to another lead, right? So I spend hours on Craigslist, hours on rent.com, hours on apartments.com, running around, going from this complex to that complex to this situation to that situation, sending emails back and forth, the whole deal. And I ended up in a neighborhood in Denver that I'd never been to before. I've heard about it, but I've never actually been to the neighborhood until I started walking around, and I thought, wow, this is a beautiful neighborhood. Huge trees, you know, lining the streets, a lot of fresh prana, a lot of happiness. It's an established community. What's up, Shannon? Atma Namaste. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, right? So I'm looking around, and there's no for rent signs, a couple for sale signs, so it's a really high demand area that it's an ideal location of where I'm going to have my new office, my healing space. So I thought to myself, what am I always teaching people in these live streams? Invoking, invoking, invoking. Good city planning. If you guys need a good city planner, Jen is your girl. Now does consulting for contract work, so it's not going to be on the cheap, but she'll definitely get the job done, and she'll do it with a smile. So I'm walking around this neighborhood and I'm in awe of it. Like, it's so beautiful. Everything's well manicured. All the houses are adorable. Like, this is my jam. So I'm like, how can I find a place that is suitable? So I stop and I ask somebody who's walking their dog, and I say, hey, do you know if any for rent signs you've seen and you're walking around? She goes, thank you. Hey, Sammy, Atma Namaste. I'm eating pho. And I just spilled most of it on the floor. That's okay. It made the bowl a lot lighter. You guys ever had pho before? It's like noodles, vegetarian broth, bay leaves, cauliflower, carrots, onions. What are these called? Who knows what these are called? You guys know what these are called? Hey, Tatiana, Atma Namaste. They're called something. They're called like bean sprouts or water cress nuts or chestnuts or something that spills all over the floor. I don't know. It's called something. Here, let me angle it down. You guys see what it looks like. Delicious. Mmm. Bean sprouts. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jen. I needed you guys. I also needed you to bring me some extra napkins to pick up the mistake and the spill. So, a little jalapeno going in there. Lots of lime. Yeah. Lime is good. Thanks for having dinner with me tonight. More lime. You hear music? Man, Tatiana, you got better ears than me. Can barely hear the music, but I guess iPhone has a really good speaker. And then another jalapeno. What's up, Amar? Atma Namaste, welcome. Jason, I have an amazing recipe if anyone's interested. Executive chef and all. All right, so everyone, Jason is an executive chef. He's also a pranic healer, soon to be an Arhatic yogi. If you're looking for an excellent pho recipe, he's your man. Can you send some calming so you don't spill? Thank you. Thank you for the calming energy. So, got my chopsticks. And where are we going with this? So, I'm walking around the neighborhood and so this woman says to me, I saw some for rent sign about 5 blocks that way. But she didn't say 1 block up and 4 blocks over, or 2 blocks up and 3 blocks over. So she just said a roundabout. What's up, Ted? Atma Namaste. So as I'm walking around, I invoke. And for those of you who saw the video we did a couple days ago about invoking is asking God for help, asking the great ones for help, asking your teacher for help, asking your higher soul for help, so you are more in alignment with what the divine plan is for your life in that moment. So the divine plan is finding the right place so I can continue spreading the work of my teacher, Master Choa. Right. So I'm walking around, milling around, and then I do the invocation, and I see this woman across the street walking her dog. And she seems like very bright and happy and whatever. She's like the only person I run across. I run across 3 people in 20 minutes of walking in a beautiful neighborhood. Tom Green's bringing the heat. Atma Namaste, Tom. Good to have you on. Terry, Atma Namaste. Kate, Atma Namaste. So check this out. Do the invocation. All of a sudden I see this woman from out of nowhere who's walking in front of her house. I stop her and I say, hey, can I ask you a question? Do you know of any places that are for rent in this neighborhood? And what neighborhood are we actually standing in? And I'm asking all these details. Come to find out, hey, Stephanie, the woman has been in the neighborhood for 30 years, knows everything about the neighborhood. She has an extra house right next to her house, right, that she's standing in front of. She's also an energy healer. She's also a trader, does investments. She's also a real estate investor. She's also an interior designer. And she has all these quartz crystals all over her house that have been blessed and consecrated by her practice and other practitioners. This is a random person I met out of the blue. But because I invoked, because I asked for help, asked for guidance, she said, you know what? There is a place for rent in my place in the next month, if you're interested. Now, there's a caveat to this. There's a caveat to this. For those of you who know of Master Choa's class, Pranic Feng Shui talks about the power of directions, and directions are very, very important. And once, as I understand it, in the world of spirituality, once you're taught a higher teaching and you go against the higher teaching, the penalty or the consequences are much, much greater. So it's kind of the example of the ordinary civilian versus the attorney versus the judge. Who knows the law better? The attorney knows the law better than the civilian, and then the judge knows the law better than the attorney. So the consequences are greater for the person who knows more but chooses not to follow through on that information or on that knowledge. So the 2 directions of these 2 properties are west facing, which does not work for my purpose personally and professionally. So I couldn't use that as an option. Hey, Mary. Twin Hearts Force is with the force is with you. Scott, what's going on, stud? So I was super inspired, and we had a beautiful conversation. The woman is going to be hiring me to do healing work for her, and she just got over she had to put her mother into assisted living. She's moving her mother's stuff out of her place, and she's selling a lot of it, you know, getting thousands of dollars for antique furniture, antique magazines, antique artifacts, all these different kinds of things. So it's really cool, and we had such a beautiful exchange with one another. And the woman has done her study. She's been, you know, doing her reading up on this energy medicine, meditation, healing. She talked about her guides for a little bit. But again, what are the chances? I'm in a neighborhood I've never been to before, don't know anyone in the neighborhood. In 20 minutes, there were only 3 people on the street, and then as soon as I invoke and ask God and the great ones and the teacher for help, sends me this little angel who also has angels around her, and we have this beautiful exchange with one another. Now, true, there's one more part of the story I didn't tell you guys. While I wasn't able to find an apartment for rent with her at either of her places, she is giving me the contact info of a guy who owns several properties in that very neighborhood that I can talk to tomorrow and find out if this is where my new home is going to be in the Denver area. So super excited about that. But the point I'm making is, hey Cheryl, namaste. Sounds like you were meant to cross each other's paths for sure. She's helping me, I'm helping her. She kept saying to me, there are no accidents, there are no coincidences, we were supposed to meet. Very, very sweet woman. Hey Jade, bringing the heat, good to have you on. Happy belated birthday. Never responded to my text message, but that's okay, no hard feelings. I understand how it is. May you be blessed. May this be the best sun cycle you've ever had in your time on this planet. By the way, in the Asian culture, it's considered polite to slurp your noodles. Slurp the noodles, slurp the bowl, because it's an indicator that it's all good. And they have really good vegetarian broth here. It's actually some of the best vegetarian broth for pho I've had in Denver, and I've been to several Denver restaurants. Frank Parker Jr. We have a relative on the stream, folks. Frank is a relative of mine. Oh, thanks, Jade. You're the sweetest. I love having my relatives on here. Sometimes my brother Jason gets on here. Sometimes my brother Garrett gets on here. I have clients that get on here all the time. It's Big Daddy Will. So, the lesson I want you guys to take away from today's live stream is, when you're in this search for something, when you want something, when you desire something powerfully in your life for the greater good of all, invoke, 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 invoke. Ask for help. Ask for help from God. Ask for help from the great ones. Ask for help from your teacher. Ask for help from your higher soul. Stay connected. Stay connected. And some of you might be saying, well, wait a minute, you didn't get the place. Well, guess what? It wasn't the time. Karmically, it wasn't the time. There's going to be a better opportunity that's going to open up from this experience, because it led me from here to here to here to here, right? Life is not a destination. Life is a journey. Life is a process, and you want to enjoy the process each and every moment. Like, I've been basically looking for apartments for 4 days straight, like 8 hours a day, and running all over Denver and other areas outside of Denver. And while it's been somewhat mentally and emotionally tiring, it's also stretching my spiritual muscles. Frank said it best, one day at a time. Mary, your prayers are mine. Aww. Thanks, Mary. That's like one of the most beautiful things anyone's ever said. Aida says, it's considered a compliment to slurp the noodles noisily, like saying yum. See? From a Filipino. Stephanie, Namaste. Jason says, yes, and in Japan they overflow some of the soups and the sake, symbolic of my cup runneth over with happiness. No kidding. Tatiana's hungry. Slurp away. It looks really yummy. Thanks, Cheryl. Josiah, bringing the heat. One of my boys I haven't seen in a long time. Miss you, pretty boy. The tallest pranic healer or hatha yogi I know. How tall are you now? 7'9"? Or is it 8'1"? You're getting up there. By the way, Jason brings up a point about sake. So sake, high quality sake or top shelf sake and top shelf vodka, has a cleansing effect on the aura, has a cleansing